Merry Christmas, ladies and gents. First video back after Christmas. Hope you're all well. This is obviously the second weekend of Avatar, and it's done really well. Avatar 2 box office scores 56 million in the second weekend, so good. But it's not just that; it's now crossed, I think, well over like $850 million worldwide. So done really, really well. Done really, really well. 10 days. A bit of a surprise, mainly just because there is blizzards and stuff like that going on in America at this point in time. But one of the contributing factors of this was China, believe it or not, did about $100 million, which is a surprise, just mainly because there's a lot of weird stuff going on in China at the moment. And so the fact that they're still able to get out, surprise him. Actually surprise him. But let's take a look. So James Cameron's sci-fi sequel Avatar The Way of Water dominated at the box office over Christmas as a massive, obviously the massive storm that I kept, that I've been talking about, that kept audiences at home basically. And they go into a little bit here. I've not seen any images of this, but it's not going to pop up in my sort of feed. But extreme weather conditions are pummeling a large portion of the US with frigid temperatures, high winds and blankets of snow, contributing to a lackluster turnout at the movies. For theatre owners, it's an especially disappointing coda to 2022 because they rely on the holiday season. So this is kind of that's what they really wanted. It's not done great in the States, but still good enough. Now, just as a quick one before we dive into Avatar's numbers, you have Babylon, and then we have the animated pick, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, and then Sony's Whitney Houston biopic, I Want to Dance. All three of those films didn't really do very well at all. Not terrible numbers, but it just wasn't like the sort of smash hit success that they'd be looking for. But this is what is the huge success. I mean, $850 million globally in 10 days is really, really good. It is good. Is it good enough? Well, subjectively based on the budget at hand. If you're to believe the numbers, maybe, maybe not. Who knows? There's loads of discrepancies about that. And ultimately, we're never really going to know. But I mean, loads of people will see that number and think instantly it's in profit. I don't think it is in profit yet. So, which is still surprising, by the way. But this is when we listen to numbers from James Cameron, and it seems like 2 billion is the break-even point. But again, who knows? After 10 days, I'm not stating either way, basically. After 10 days on the big screen, Disney and 20th Century's big-budget epic Avatar The Way of Water is the 5th highest-grossing movie of the year, with 855 million in global ticket sales. That's, who cares if it's the 5th highest-grossing? It really does frustrate me where media tries to always put something into like a box. You know, it's this great success, blah, 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 blah. Sure, whatever. Who cares? It's not important. So far, James Cameron's long-delayed sequel has generated 253.7 million at the US box office. I'm going to say I don't think that's great. I don't think that's great. But the factor for that be keeping people at home is that storm. I would imagine so. But it's done $600 million internationally. Even with harsh winter weathers in North America and rising cases of COVID, RSV, and the flu across the world, the Avatar sequel is expected to bring in strong grosses in the coming days. And by the end of the year, the $350 million budgeted tentpole, we don't know if it's that, just as an FYI, that's not been confirmed. But it's looking like it'll hit $1 billion before the end of the year, which will be good. I don't know whether they'll be happy with that, but that will still be good. And they say it's a benchmark that only 2 other movies, Top Gun Maverick and Jurassic World Dominion, have managed to hit in 2022. So here's the breakdown. Avatar 2 had a very strong turnout in China with 100.5 million. There was some figures quoting that they were expecting like $250 million there. $100 million, maybe not that great. Especially China, you've got to remember they take a large portion of that, which the studio doesn't actually see. So that's really important to note, by the way. The less money a film earns in the domestic market, the less money it earns overall, primarily because they take their biggest percentage from the domestic market. And that's why the domestic market is so important to Hollywood. Now, Korea did $53 million, which is crazy. France, 52.3. and India with 37 million. I would say that's a flop in India. India is huge as a country, and like population is just absolutely massive. So that's a flop in India. Germany with $35.7 million. And there are several reasons why the follow-up film will struggle to reach the heights of its predecessor, apparently. This is what Deadline is saying. Variety, sorry, which is interesting. So, for one, the worldwide box office hasn't fully rebounded from the pandemic. That's bollocks. We've seen this time and time again. This is used as an excuse. That is nonsense. It has bounced back. We saw it with Spider-Man No Way Home. And they say important markets like China are experiencing a resurgence of the virus. That's the main one. This is the thing that they don't want to admit to, but it's Hollywood's over-reliance on China. And moreover, the sequel won't be playing in Russia, where the original grossed $116 million. I mean, yeah, I guess that'll matter. Not a great deal, but it'll matter a little bit. You know, but I mean, if that's really your marker for success, I mean, there's a problem there, isn't it? I mean, Russia, losing out on Russian money, not a great problem. Now, IMAX has contributed a notable portion of global ticket sales, with 97 million coming from the company's premium screens. This is the thing that I actually find interesting. And they say, look, like the original pricier IMAX and 3D tickets are expected to boost overall revenues for Avatar 2. That's the thing, is that it's because it's a premium. But I am surprised that it's only $97 million from IMAX premium screens. Genuinely. I would have thought it would be more. Because that's what I keep hearing from everyone. Everyone's waiting. And that was actually in a Deadline article, was that they're waiting to get to the best screens possible. Really? I think $97 million? That's quite low, I think, personally. Avatar: The Way of Water is showing the strong endurance of the global box office we expected. Cool. Particularly with its phenomenal performance internationally, where several key markets grew their grosses over opening weekend. So cool. Like, it's doing well. No one can take that away from $855 million, I believe. Yeah, $855 million. This will be interesting to see what happens now moving forwards, because the closer we get to January, and we get into January, that's when there are actually more films coming out, which could impact it. I don't know if it will, but it'll just be interesting. And the main surprise here for me is that the IMAX didn't contribute a massive amount to it. Bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. But never mind. Let me know what you guys think. Be keen to hear it. I hope you had a great Christmas. Take care.